The thing about Transformers is you're watching literally just robots. And
just robots fighting other robots.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what's the point of it's just to see some cool effects. And this one,
and it's like, why are you fighting here?
Like, why are you on Earth to just go to your own planet or go to another planet?
Take the Allspark somewhere else and fight.
Yeah, like
go to Mars where there's no one walking around. You don't have to destroy New York City again.
And why do the Decepticons want to take over the fucking Earth? Like, what the fuck do human beings have to offer them?
Your shit is better than all our shit.
Yeah.
Like,
you're literally just here to destroy our planet for no fucking reason.
Yeah, it's like, but Pacific Rim.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
Welcome to Reasons to See,
where we give you reasons to see
and not to see
Pacific Rim.
So tonight, we are canceling the apocalypse! And doing a movie review. Reason to see number 1. Insane robots versus monster shit. Yeah, this shit is literally insane. Like, you're watching it and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's like some of the craziest action I've seen in a long time. It's totally unique. The physics behind the actual, like, machines and everything.
Yeah.
You could feel the hits of these just giant science fiction CG going on, but like you can feel the impact of it. It's totally effective and it's so cool to watch. I think, a lot of people are comparing it to like Transformers especially. I think it tops Transformers by far.
This is worlds different from Transformers and you could easily make that comparison, but yeah, I mean, watching these big ass robots fight these giant monsters, there's something that feels totally different and completely more awesome and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, it's Jaegers, giant robots, and kaiju, giant monsters. And yet there's something more organic to it, I feel, than Transformers. Like, everything in Transformers has sort of a sheen and sort of a... It's like they're just as effects heavy, but this one feels like there's more humanity in it.
But Pacific Rim, you got humans inside of the machines. They're operating them, and it's like they're communicated through the mind. Drift compatible. I think we'd be drift compatible.
We could be drift compatible.
Yeah, I think so too. We hop into our minds, and mind is just full of sex.
Maybe.
Wow, you're really horny, man.
No. Maybe we wouldn't be drift compatible.
I wish I wasn't in your mind, right?
Yeah, dude. Oh, wow.
Well, you got a lot of shit in your mind.
I didn't need that. The fighting feels different, and it's not so much like Transformers. It almost feels like after a while, it's like, my brain is turning into liquid because there's so much action. And in this movie, there is a lot of action, but it all feels like it's built in a proper way, like it escalates and there are dynamics to it. It's not all the same. Like,
well, there's emotional effect that's actually occurring in this film, especially because you care enough about the people that are inside of these machines, and at the same time too, the monsters look scary. There are really good effects on the monsters, and they're all different kinds, and it's just insanity, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
nuts.
And that's what's so cool is that it keeps escalating, and there are different robots and different
and different types of gadgets too.
Yeah, so everything is very interesting and very detailed and stuff like that, and it's
because like like when the humans are inside of the machines, they gotta like instruct the machines on how to do stuff, and they gotta do the movements themselves. So you actually feel like you're part of the action in a way, rather than just watching, like, observing robots fighting each other. Like, a lot of people comparing this to Power Rangers too, like the very adult version of Power Rangers. Yeah. And you know what? What's the problem with that? That sounds fucking... I would love a dark take of Power Rangers. Sounds awesome.
Well, and that's part of what is so great about this movie is that it does hark back to all those things like Godzilla and Power Rangers and and even to an extent Transformers, like the cartoons and stuff like that. I've heard it described this way by a bunch of people. It's sort of everything you loved while you were 12. Everything that was just like, oh, that's incredible. Like, I'm in a movie for this stuff and it's awesome. It's like, it's nostalgia that way, so it's,
What I just really appreciate about this movie is that when you watch the trailer, you see that, you're like, dang, that all looks awesome.
Yes.
And you watch it and you're like, it's even awesomer than the trailer.
Yeah, because it does more stuff than just robots fighting monsters.
Yeah, exactly. It's creative too, and it's slow motion.
Well, yeah, you also get the physics of like, these things are huge, so it's not gonna be like a super fast punch. It's like, we need rockets to propel the punch.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, so.
Elbow rocket! Ah, yes!
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty rad.
Sword. Oh my god. You know, when first time I saw it, there were some kills where the audience was just applauding. And there's major destruction. Major destruction.
Yeah.
One of the best destruction movies. You know, this year is all about fucking up the world.
Yeah.
And they fuck up the world really well, but it's not like, you know, I love Man of Steel. That's not like Man of Steel where like, man, if these two people would just find a location to fight, a lot of people would not be dying right now.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like, no, man, these are giants fighting each other. Yeah, you got no choice but to fight in the cities and stuff.
At any time, you can use a battleship, like a ship, as a baseball bat.
Oh, that was so cool.
Awesome.
All the effects in this are so cool. Just the designs of the whole futuristic world. It's immersive. It is like looking into like the near distant future in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a little bit of that Tron feel, sort of, but at the same time, it's got its own unique spin on it. Oh, the costumes were all the designs were just so fucking awesome to look at.
All the Jaegers look different. They all have their own design, and they're all sort of tailored to the country they're from. And then all the kaiju are different, and they have that sort of Guillermo del Toro creature flair mixed with things you would have seen in a Godzilla movie. So it's really cool designs, and the effects, just the way everything looks is mind-blowing.
It's one of those rare visual feast movies that is mainly you're gonna go for the visuals, that you actually walk out going, I feel like I got a lot out of it. I've seen so many movies that are just visual thrills that I don't enjoy, but this one I was like, it's worth it just for the action, the visual effects. I saw this twice on IMAX. I'm not gonna tell you the perfect seat. I know the perfect seat. And you know what, man? That shit is fucking insane. If you haven't seen it on IMAX, you have to watch it on IMAX. Just once, at least. Even if you saw it on a regular screen and you hated it, watch it on IMAX, your opinion might change. Because the scope of, like, the machines and stuff, you can feel the scope of it all.
Yeah, it's larger than life.
It's like really looking at giants.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insanity. And what's great is the effects look super fucking real, too, at the same time. It's totally believable. Reason to see number 3. The directing and cinematography. Every Guillermo del Toro movie has awesome directing and awesome cinematography.
Guillermo del Toro and Guillermo Navarro.
Yeah.
Two Guillermos.
Every single imagery, the lighting complements the effects so well. The direction of it, it's not kinetic craziness throughout. The camera takes its time. You know, there's some handheld shots in there when it needs to be. Yeah.
Well, and the way it's captured really communicates the scope of everything. It really makes this world feel larger than life. You know, you really get the gravity of how big the kaiju are and how big the Jaegers are and how much destruction is going on. Like, it's the way it's captured is great.
This is like totally Del Toro's movie, you know what I mean? Like, it like you brought it up to me when we saw it. Like, it is like, it's the comparison to Kill Bill for Tarantino. Like, this is his homage movie to like monster flicks and stuff like that. And it totally is, you know. After you told me that, I was like, it really is like Del Toro's personal homage to a lot of these things in a way.
Yeah, it's him, his letting his inner 12-year-old out, you know, to bring all that stuff that he loves, and you can feel that love while you're watching it. You can feel that enthusiasm and that. And
honestly, the 3D too, like, I haven't seen it on a regular screen, but on IMAX, some of the best 3D I've ever seen, without a doubt. Like, it really looks like shit is coming at you. Like, just from the opening shots, like, you're like, whoa, shit. The fish look like they're swimming in front of me right now.
Reason to see number 4. Idris Elba.
He's my favorite performer in this film, by far.
He does a great job.
He's a total badass, you know. It's cool to see a British major in the film, you know, and he is right here. I think could be a real star-turning performance for the guy. He's
got that leadership edge, you know, without being too corny about it. You know, is just the right amount of tough leader and while still getting the idea of the movie, I think.
There's this great line that he has in it where he's like, "You don't know my past, and I'm not going to tell you my whole life story." Yeah, but when he says that, you're like, I could tell Idris Elba came up with his whole past. Reason to see number 5. The score. Score in this is cool. Even the score has a little bit of a throwback vibe, but like it's rock and roll kind of music at times.
It,
you know?
it knows, and that's another sort of sign I can tell they must have had fun making this, because the score changes and it's always the right thing for the right moment. So when, you know, there's a big showdown in the middle of the city, it's like, let's bring out that rock and roll guitar because we want to see these guys kick some monster ass, you know. And then when it's a little more serious, then it's a little more serious, and then there's even some stuff that feels like it was sort of out of a Godzilla movie.
The movie just wants you to have fun, and it takes itself seriously enough too at the same time.
Reason to see number 6, Rinko Kikuchi.
I really like this girl a lot. She was cool. Like, she's a really cool character. I thought Idris Elba gives the best performance, but my favorite character I thought was her, actually.
The stuff they do with her character, there's some emotional stuff, there's some badass stuff, there's some stuff that you really feel for her.
She's a good actress. She's a really good actress.
And I mean, they would be remiss if they didn't have somebody Japanese in a lead part of this movie, because I think this movie owes so much to Japanese cinema.
Yeah. It's even got kind of like a Gundam wing feel at the same time, you know?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. There's all sorts of stuff in there, and she does a great job.
Oh, there's this really good scene where where they're testing out the Jaeger. She doesn't even say anything, but she does an excellent fucking job. Reason to see number 7, Charlie Day, a scientist.
You're man kaiju brain man.
He's fun to watch in this movie. You know, like there's a lot of scenes where he's, you know, it's basically he has to operate the scene, and he is really fun to watch in this film. Perfectly cast.
Yeah.
When I first heard Charlie Day is going to be in Pacific Rim, I was like, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan. I loved him in Horrible Bosses. And then I see him in this and I'm like, this guy, he's really making his way up the ladder.
Yeah,
because he's proving he can do like roles where he can be taken even a little bit more serious. Because he's more of the comic relief kind of character in a way. But at the same time, he's not like a joke character. He's not the comedian of the film, you know?
Well, yeah, and then that's another thing about this film generally is I've heard the word cartoons thrown around, and I think that does fit because there is a certain level of sort of cartoon enthusiasm to some of this stuff. So exactly, it's like Charlie Day isn't hey cracking jokes, but he is one of the more heightened characters.
He's a very important character too. Like you know, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he's like the stupidest one of the characters. Yeah. And in this one, he's like the smartest one of the characters, and you totally buy him as this guy.
There was even a moment where he got me a little misty-eyed. Oh man, Charlie.
Yeah.
Buddy. Reason to see number 8, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, he doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie. They show him on the trailer, and I was like, oh, he must have a little small role, but he's a scene stealer. Like, the few scenes he has, he's a delight to watch. Like, he's really cool.
So much fun.
It's classic Ron Perlman, you know, like tough guy with, where at the same time he's kind of funny and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like he's still got his charisma, even though he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Charlie Day have a couple of scenes together, and they play off each other pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of the more colorful characters in this movie, and one of the more sort of out there heightened guys, and he does a great job. The look and his whole get up and everything about his characterization is just so much fun to watch.
Split Decisions doesn't meet its character potential. Okay, here's the thing. I really like a lot of the performances in this movie, but when I look at the foundation of the characters that they laid out and everything, because the prologue's great, and they set up the characters very well, but as I watched the film, I noticed I didn't really care a lot about the drama that was going on, and I realized that's because I didn't care as much for the characters as this film was capable of allowing me to care for these characters, because a lot of the talk, you know, it's about the mission and moving on, and it's constantly moving forward with the mission and stuff like that, which is fine, but I could see that they were also striving for some good character stuff, and I thought the only missing element in this awesome set of characters, like some real unique fucking characters, even if it's like throwback characters, I thought they could have amplified it still just a little bit more.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from. It didn't really bother me in this movie though, because I felt like, again, it is sort of a throwback, and it is a throwback to those archetypes, and I thought that was fine, because, you know, it's...
See, I could also see that point though, at the same time, yeah.
Because it's a big, it's a big adventure. I felt I cared enough about the drama, like everything grabbed me just the right way. And I mean, it could be deeper, but it's like you take a movie like Avatar, and that's a movie that people criticize for being, all the characters are black and white. It's good guy, evil guy. You have the gamut of archetypes, all these characters we've seen 100 million times before, and why it doesn't work for that movie, for me at least, is because that movie is taking itself real serious. Whereas this movie is like, it's supposed to be, I get the sense it's supposed to be sort of cartoony and heightened, and it's supposed to be just fun and a throwback, and so those archetypes to me work in that environment.
But just when I was watching it, it's one of those things where I was like, potential is there, and I get upset. Not upset, but I get a little let down when I feel like potential is not met. I mean, people are comparing this to like how Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill was to him, like that homage, but like people watch Kill Bill for like the action, the blood, all the fun stuff, but there's also an awesome fucking set of unique characters, and I thought like this film had the capability of doing that, but at the same time I could see where you're coming from on that. And a lot of people are reacting differently to this movie, like just depending on who you are. Everyone has their own interpretation. That's cool to kind of get from a summer blockbuster that you weren't expecting to have a bunch of different types of interpretations of what they thought was good, because a lot of people love the characterization in this movie, but then there are a lot of people who are like, the characterization sucks,
Well, but you also got to think about it. You look at the characters, and they've all got these, crazy names and stuff like that, and they're all sort of heightened. And
one guy's called Hercules.
Yeah, there's a guy named Hercules. Hannibal Chow is who Ron Perlman plays. So, it's like, I get the sense that these are all supposed to be sort of outlandish, cartoony types and a little less. I thought the characters that got a little more deep was fitting, and all the ones that were just a little more in the immediate part of the situation were just as good, so.
I had minor issues with the lead character. Like, a lot of people are really criticizing this guy's performance, and I didn't hate the guy's performance, nor did I dislike it. I thought he did an okay job, but I thought for a lead character he could have been a lot more interesting to watch.
He could have, and that was another thing too, where I got used to the acting style of this movie, because it took me a few minutes and I realized I get the sense that everything is supposed to be a little bit heightened, and I thought that Charlie Hunnam played that role. He played that archetype again. It's like he played that guy, that, square jawed, like, I'm gonna, I don't play by the rules, but I'm still gonna get it done,
That's fine. I randomly just came here to watch monsters and robots kick some ass. I didn't really come here to see this stuff, but here's what I'll say. Even though I was kind of let down by not beating up its potential, I still feel that, like, hey, what you're going to go watch this movie for, it definitely delivers on that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you found yourself in the theater, I have a feeling that you'll get what you came for.
Yeah, exactly. And my only other complaint too with the characters was the other scientist character, the guy who's in The Dark Knight Rises, who is the assistant to Daggett. He's apparently British, and I think he's British. It's kind of like a fake accent in a way. Because he was so I thought he was a little too cartoony. Like, it was because I didn't think the movie was too humorous or too cartoony enough to have him be that animated. Like, it distracted me. I was like, this is like a character from a different film.
I guess I can see where you're coming from, but I had so much fun watching him, and I felt like, when you meet those two characters, you meet him and you meet Charlie Day, and Charlie Day is a little more animated than a lot of the other characters we've met so far, and then Burn Gorman is more animated than him. So it made a nice little stepping ladder for me, and I had so much fun watching him.
Ryan's consensus! Insane action and effects thrills is the reason to see Pacific Rim. Insane action and effects thrills is the reason to see Pacific Rim. Like we keep saying, everything you want to see in this fucking movie, it delivers.
Jerry's consensus? Badass robots, crazy monsters, and childlike awe is the reason to see Pacific Rim. Badass robots, crazy monsters, and childlike awe are the reason to see Pacific Rim. Yeah, dude, I just had so much fun being 12 again. It's like definitely. Robots and monsters and scientists and crazy Chinatown looking thing. Like, it's awesome.
It's one of those movies where you're like, it's weird. You're watching giant robots and shit, but you're like, I wish I had like a buddy that I could drift with in a Jaeger.
Yeah.
Fight some fucking monsters.
You just want to go out and be a robot and fight stuff and
like,
have a very slow motion fight.
Yeah, in the rain and shit. Yeah, oh my god, it's cool.
All those, yeah.
Alright, fans of our show, thanks for checking out our review for Pacific Rim. Why don't you go ahead, scroll that comment box below, and tell us, what is your favorite monster movie or giant robot movie, which is only one other franchise.
And once you're done telling us all that stuff, come over here and click on this link to watch more episodes of Reasons to See.
And if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can click the link right here. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can click the link right here.
And last but not least, if you want to get updated every time a new review or a video is out, subscribe! Chest plate. Rockets.
Man. Okay. What is your favorite Jaeger in this movie? Tell us below.
Yeah.
Yeah. And click on all these fucking links right here. Just bam, 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 bam. Do it. They don't open up in a new window either. It's gonna take you right to that page. You're gonna have to click back.
Yeah. You know what else is cool is that I gotta give props to Travis Beacham who wrote this because it's it's monsters versus robots, but they found a way to make those fights escalate and get different every time. So
Surprisingly. Yeah.
So it's not like Transformers where it's like, okay, we're just gonna watch the same fight happen a bunch of times. It's like,
for 3.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, it's like this one. It's like, wow, you really went a lot of places and took this thing up. It escalates. So props. There's some good props in this movie too. Yeah, dude, that part where he's like typing on stuff and they're like...
They got the holograms. Yeah, they got holograms.
Yeah.
I love the blast hand. It's like giant... You know what it is? The machines look like giant Master Chiefs.
Yeah, a little bit.
Don't they?
Or at least the American one does.
It's like Iron Man and giant Master Chief combined at the same time.
Yeah, kind of.
But then there's some funky looking Jaegers at sometimes.
Well, because Cherno Alpha, like I said, the Russian one, the head sort of looks like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Lost in Space robot from this television show. Like a giant version of it.
There's an aerial shot where you can see fans in the top, and I'm like, oh, such great detail.
Yeah, there's a lot of great detail. They really thought about like how if we made these, how would they operate?
Yeah, and what would each country's look like? Badass.
I hope you've subscribed at this point.
Yeah, because this is for us now.
We're just talking for ourselves. We don't need this footage, but we're doing it anyway.
Witty banter.
Yeah.
That wasn't even that witty though. That was just a discussion.
That wasn't even banter. We were agreeing on everything.
Yeah, exactly. We were just kind of talking.
This is going on a little long.
Yeah, it is.